there is a King seated among us. Let every heart receive him now. Where there is praise, he will inhabit. There will be grace and mercy all around. And every burden will be lifted in his presence. Every trophy will be laid down at his feet. There is a name that reigns above all others. Jesus Christ, the King above all kings. Unto the Lamb, honor and glory, worthy is he who overcame, buried in shame, but risen in power. He is alive, and the stone is rolled away. It won't be long. We will behold him, and every tear he'll wipe away. 'Cause we'll be at home. The war will be over. Soon we will meet our Savior face to face. On heaven or on earth that compares to your name, the name that your Father gave to you, so all of us could call on your name and recognize you and walk with you. God, thank you. Thank you for that name that we can call on. It says in your word that you are in front of us, you are beside us, and you are behind us in all that we do. In all that we do. And that name is a rescuer. That name is a comforter. That name is above all names, and we give you worship this morning. Amen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thrive's online service. We hope you enjoyed that time of worship. We have a great service ahead of us. We are kicking off fall today. If you follow us online, you've probably seen some pretty hilarious llama videos. And if you live in the Solano County area, you might have even got a llama mailer. So we hope there's some new eyeballs joining us today. If that is you, thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of all of Thrive, we just want to give you a big, warm welcome. As I mentioned, we got a great service ahead of us. And we start things at Thrive with our Connect card. So our host team is going to post the link for that in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or our online campus. And I want to encourage you to go ahead and fill that out. Our mission here at Thrive is to make it easy for people to find and follow Jesus. We think that is best accomplished by making it easy, simple, and real for people. And relationships and connection is big for us here at Thrive. And so that was the heart behind the Connect card. If you're new, there's a box for that. Please check the box. Let us know you are here. And no matter new or regular, there is a place for prayer requests at the bottom. Our team goes over those every week and prays individually for those. So I can't encourage you enough to put something down on that prayer request and give God a chance to do something only He can do. So again, guys, fill that out, get it sent in. We also are launching our fall Thrive groups at the end of this month. So while you're on our website, go to thrivechurchca.com and you'll get all the details for our Thrive fall groups. We have a saying here that circles are better than rows. Don't get me wrong, big fan of Sundays. My favorite part of every week is going to church. But you get a little bit more of a intimate setting with Thrive groups. You're going to get a chance to meet people, maybe that you were only acquaintances at church. You're going to get to know people's story. You're going to get to learn more about God, and hopefully you're going to deepen your faith. So we have lots of options this year, both in person and online. I think there's going to be about 8 to 10 different fall groups. Everything you're used to seeing from men's groups, women's groups, marriage groups. We're going to have a couple curveballs in there. I myself will be hosting a Thrive group called Shape, where you're going to get to learn all about God's gifts for you and how you can use them to serve Him and serve your community and serve your family. So check those out again on our website, Thrive Church CA. And last but certainly not least, One Youth is meeting tonight, as they usually do, Sundays, 6:30 in our building at 190 Bella Vista. Tonight's a little special though. Things always get a little crazy there, but tonight they're having what they call color night. So I think an insane amount of chalk and paint and color is going to be brought out for them to make pictures and art and murals. There's even going to be a videographer there to kind of capture it all and give the youth something to post on TikTok or social media, whatever they like. So send your kids down to Thrive's building tonight at 6:30. Let us tucker them out. They'll get to spend some time with friends, learn a little bit about God, and hopefully get them blessed for the week. So again, that's in the building. And as I mentioned, we're kicking off a new series today called Turn Down the Drama, which seems quite fitting for times right now. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what God and Andy have for us this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're catching us. So without further ado, Thrive, let's get to it.
Life is filled with all kinds of drama, ours and theirs. We've become so used to it that we don't even realize the headache and hassles it brings to our lives. Fear, pain, depression, comparison, all of that leads to a whole lot of stress. We feel worn out, strapped, trapped, angry, and alone. What we really want is a life that is filled with passion and excitement, and yet even more, a life that gives us joy, peace, rest, and greater purpose. Making life less hectic and more happy is the goal. How do we get there? It's time to turn down the drama. Welcome, everyone, to Thrive. We are so glad that you are joining us today. My name is Andy. I am the co-lead pastor here at Thrive, along with my wife, Sally. We started Thrive 6 years ago with this incredible dream of how do we create a church where people who were far from God, people who had maybe given up on the idea of church, but really wanted to connect with the God of the universe, the God who loves them. And so we started Thrive, and we say some things around here that we just want to say welcome, especially as our fall kickoff today. Maybe somebody invited you. Maybe you got one of our mailers in your mailbox, and you're like, you know what, I want to check these people out and see who they are. And we just want to say thank you for joining us today as a part of Thrive Online. There's some things you'll hear around us about Thrive, just to kind of give us a little snapshot of what Thrive is all about. We like to say three things. Thrive is simple, fun, and real. Simple in that we believe that church should add to your life and not complicated. That the people and the experience of coming together should really bring some value to who you are. We also believe that it's fun. Fun is medicine for the soul, and it's just something that speaks to everything that we do at Thrive. Maybe you even saw in the mailer, if you're in person today, you'll actually see live llamas outside, out front of our location. And then we also like to keep things real. Because real life is one of the things that we want to talk about, and we want to connect real life to the real Jesus and see how faith has a huge impact together on all of that. Now, we are kicking off a series of messages today called Turn Down the Drama, Making Life Less Hectic and More Happy. And when we say a series, really we take a topic or an idea that we really feel like we want God to speak into in our lives. We go, hey, let's just kind of zoom into it. Let's kind of zero in on it, and let's talk about it over a coming week. So the next 4 Sundays, we're going to be looking at this idea of how do we turn down the drama in our lives, especially because life has gotten a lot more hectic, hasn't it? I mean, wouldn't you agree? I mean, we're doing more, we're working more, we're occupied by stuff more, we're on social media more. Our lives are just generally available and more accessible than ever before. And even in this last kind of year and a half, there's been a lot of extra hectic things that have been placed onto us. And so because of all those things that are going on, that are more in our lives, we actually have a lot more drama that are in our lives as well. We've got relationship drama and family drama and work drama and friend drama and money drama and personal drama. And maybe you've got some like time scheduling drama in your life. You might even have like PTO drama in your life or team drama. And on it goes. I mean, if you would admit or you'd like to say like, who's got a little bit of drama going on in their lives right now? I think the answer to that question actually is that we all do. Every single one of us has some drama, some place in our lives. And on the surface, like that's it. So we have drama in our lives. And then on the other side, though, we actually respond. And when you get asked about drama, this is what most people say. I don't do drama. I don't like drama. I don't want it a part of my life. I try to avoid it. So we all say we've got some drama somewhere, and we don't even like it or do it. And then deep down, though, if you start to kind of drill into it, I think there's a problem that's started to happen. Is actually, people might say they don't like it, but I think people have gotten a lot more used to it than they realize. I think people have gotten so used to it that they've even become to like it. Yep, I'm saying that people like drama. We've fallen into this category. Well, you know what? If there's a drama llama in our lives, we're going to follow him, right? And why would I say that? Why would I say that people like drama? Because drama gets attention. Drama gets noticed, right? Drama is actually a little bit exciting at first. It gets our emotions involved. It gets us a little stirred up inside where we feel a little bit more alive for a moment. Because when our emotions are high, isn't that when life's exciting? Isn't that when life is interesting? See, the world pushes this idea on us all the time. It pushes us out there with this idea that you know what, that drama is really what makes life exciting. And you see this in different places. Netflix are kind of entertainment places. They're pushing like last minute proposals, secret affairs, outrageous action sequences, and all of those things. That's really what makes life really exciting and intriguing for us. Now, that might be fiction, and you're like, that's not really real, Pastor Andy. Right, but guess what? It feeds what we believe. You go on to other parts like social media. This is one of the places that can be just a huge kind of place where there's big outrage that people put out there. And it's a big opportunity to let your ideas and what you're upset about and what's going wrong with the world. We put that out there now, which creates its own drama. And then the news. The news used to be all about facts. But now it's all about clicks and sensationalism. It's about ad dollars driving so much of what draws people in. And so drama is the new normal like never before. It's like it's now normal to have drama in your life because drama gets the attention. But here's the thing. And we don't always realize it. We don't think of it in those terms because our world says it's normal. But drama gets its attention, but it's not good attention. Now, I think we know this deep down. We understand this because that type of drama, we said it. We want to avoid it at all costs. But we kind of like it. And we kind of fall into this place that when you're on the wrong side of drama, somehow you get sucked into it and you get pulled into it. And there's this gravitational pull that just makes us make bad choices and not good reasoning. And we say things that we wish we didn't, right? Drama is interesting for a moment. But then all of a sudden the headache and the heartache and the chaos and the trouble follows. And we don't like the trouble at all. We don't like how it makes us feel. We don't like just the kind of difficult place that's in our lives. And it's why we're kicking off this series today so you can go, wait a minute. You know what? I've got some in my life. I don't really like it, but we're not sure what to do with it. That's why we want to help you turn down the drama in your life. That's why we want you to help you turn it around and go, hey, how can I make life more happy than what I've ever experienced, right? And we're going to discover actually that God has a plan for your life that's totally different than what our world is telling us. Maybe you didn't realize that or you didn't even know that, right? That God has a calling and He has a plan for you to how you can live life best when you walk with Him. And when you do, the drama that's out there that's going to come, because it is going to come, isn't going to affect you in the same way. See, it's possible to make your life so much more fulfilling if you can discover just how to turn down the drama in your life. Because here's the thing, the drama's going to be there. The drama's going to be there. It's how you respond to the drama that makes all the difference. See, to better understand what this means by drama, we need to actually define it. We need to make sure that we understand what it is. Because over the next few weeks, as we explore this whole idea of what drama is and how do we actually turn it down in our lives, it's going to help us to go, here's a definition, here's an understanding of it. And this is what I found, dictionary definition to help us kind of get a beginning point for it. Drama, an exciting, emotional, or unexpected series of events or set of circumstances. Does that even sound like drama at all? I mean, drama for us is like this person said, and can you believe they did this? And I can't imagine, that's what we think of when we hear drama. But you read that definition and you're like, really? That doesn't even capture any of the essence of what drama really is. So I'm like, okay, I set out to find a better definition of drama. I said, okay, where can I go? So I started looking around, and I remember I saw this, and I came across how this all went down. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go to some place that's trusted, that's reputable, that has some good insight and some wisdom for us. You know what I went to? Urban Dictionary. Okay, I know, but go with me. Here's one of the definitions that they use to define drama. And ladies, I just want you to know, having a little fun here, but here we go. It says, something women, and especially teenage girls, thrive on. It even had thrive in the definition, so I had to use it. Yes, you read that. It's a little bit of funny on the top, but it's a little bit of truth that comes through because there's some reality that's there. But the definition keeps going. Check this out. It says, consisting of any number of situations that have an easy solution, which will bring a fairly good outcome, but these girls choose another. They choose another bad way to deal with it, again, consisting of backstabbing, blackmail, gossip, betrayal of their friends. I know, it's crazy to think about that definition. And we laugh at this a little bit because you know what? There's a little bit of truth there that goes on. Here's the thing, guys. We may not respond the same way that women do to drama in their lives, but we have our own version of what that looks like and how we react to it. We all have it, and I think this definition captures a lot more the essence of what drama does, the effect of what drama does to us. There's gossip, and there's backstabbing, and there's arguing, and there's hurt, and there's anger, and there's trouble that comes when drama hits our lives. And here's the thing. It hits our lives, and then we actually feed it, and we fuel it more than we know. See, that's the trouble. We don't even realize how addicted to drama we really are. See, for too many people, we need the drama in our lives to feel like there's some excitement or interest in our life. We need it to kind of make us to have a sense of like there's something going on, and there's something enticing, and there's something actually worth looking towards and experiencing. And so we have to have drama in order to have that other feeling. Because when drama, whether it's by our own making, because sometimes drama is our own problem that we created, or sometimes drama just finds us, here's the thing. We often add to the drama by how we respond to it, talk about it, or feed on it. We don't think about that all the time, but this is the key. Drama is going to be one of those unavoidable things. And when it comes, we don't even realize it, but how we respond to it, talk about it, and feed on it, we often add to the drama in our lives because we don't know what to do with it, and that's a problem. The problem is we don't know how to respond to it, and that's what the series is about, and that's what I want to focus in on today, because there is an alternative way to living that is not defined by drama, and it's a life that Jesus offers us. It's a life filled with adventure. It's a life filled with meaning. It's a life filled with excitement and promise and happiness. It's a life with a greater calling. That life that really goes, you know what? The hecticness of life is coming down and the happiness can go up because there's something so much greater and more fulfilling that Jesus offers to us. But to get there, we need to jump into today the Word of God and the power that it has for us, because that is what's going to speak. Because if Jesus and His way and what God has for us is everything, I want you to do me a favor. Thrive, whether you have a Bible, whether you're in an app, let's open our Bibles together. Yeah, let's jump in. We're going to go to the book of Ephesians today. Chapter 4, verse 31 is where we're going to be. Ephesians 4, 31. I'll give you a moment to get there so that you can take a look at it. If you also are in the YouVersion Bible app, you can follow along with us on our live church event that's on there with the notes and stuff from today's message as you want to take some notes along the way. But this is what it says. It says, get rid of all. He's got a list that he's coming with. He's like, all. You hear those words in the Bible, all, and you're like, whoa, there's like this whole thing that's coming. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, and slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. You can sum all of those things up in our one word from the day, and that's what word? Drama. Right, get rid of all of those things that really what contribute to drama in our lives. Then he goes, instead, verse 32, be kind to each other, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. Imitate God, therefore, in everything you do, because you are His dear children. Live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. He loved us and offered Himself as a sacrifice for us. Now, this passage comes in the midst of a letter that we would call from the book of Ephesians. The Ephesians were the name of the people that lived in the city of Ephesus. It was a city in ancient times that would be in our world, modern-day Turkey. And it was started by a guy by the name of Paul, who was an apostle. He was a church planter and a prolific writer. He wrote a good portion of the New Testament. And he captured this essence of going, how can I help churches? He starts this church, and these letters were used intentionally as a tool to be able to write to the churches to go, hey, here's some things you shouldn't be doing in your life, and here's some things that you should be focusing on. Here's some truth and some beliefs that you need to make sure you hold to, because they're going to be everything. And here's some ways to go about living your life. These letters would often address some issue that had kind of gotten up in the church or some struggle that they were experiencing, and they encouraged people. Encourage them to go, hey, this is the life that God has for you, and that has some credible hope to it if you follow it. And in this section of Ephesians 4, The writer, Paul here, is talking to them about what it means to be connected to other people. You back up a little bit in this section, he starts talking about what it means to be a part of the body, the church, and how do those relationships work together. And then in this section, starting in verse 17, leading all the way up to where we're going to go today in verse 31, he starts talking about how do you live your life in a way that really helps to bring down the drama. How do you limit it in your life? And how do you actually take steps to avoid adding to the drama? How do you respond in a healthy way that turns it down in your life? And in verse 31, he wraps up with this kind of phrase by going, hey guys, there's some certain things that are so important that you avoid, because when you let these attitudes creep in, it adds to the drama in our lives. And he's like, hey, avoid bitterness and rage and anger and harsh words and slander. All of those things in their world and in our world today, that would just be like, those are things that are surrounded and are a part of the drama-filled world. See, in ancient times, people were used to it. Guess what? It was a part of how people acted just constantly in those days, and some things haven't changed. So Paul writes, this is a list that's about drama, and then he actually sets up this comparison for what comes next, and he goes, you know what? There's this other way of living. So he's setting up this sort of kind of alternate thing to go, here's one way that the world would have you to live your life, but there's another way that God wants you to. See, and he goes, look, it's your choice. It's your choice that you can be drama-filled in your life, or you can be drama-free. It's your choice to go, you know, I'm going to have drama fill my life and be defining of what I do and the conversations that I'm in, and it's going to keep me stirred up over there and all the junk that comes with that. Or I can experience actually a life that God longs for me to live, that actually is free of it. It's not dominated by it. That when it comes, I know how to handle it. Understanding those two parts of life is what we want to explore today. And let's talk a little bit about what drama-filled looks like. I tell you what, some things don't change. Some things don't change. In ancient times, when this was written, there was all this drama and all this just garbage that was going on that impacted how they did. And guess what? People are still acting the same way today. I mean, you can look at those words that come through, and I want to walk through them because there's such kind of help in us identifying and understanding where the drama might be in our lives by the feelings that come with them. The first one he mentions was bitterness. This really is sort of a deep envy that leads to resentment. It's a deep envy that we have of somebody else and what they have and what they look like or what they think or where we think our life should be. And we look at other people out there, whether it's influencers, family members, people at school. We look at all of those things and go, hey, I get envious of what someone has, and all of a sudden I don't like where I'm at, and that starts to just take me to these negative places where I start to get bitter towards people that are in a different place than me. And it's in those moments that you can easily kind of go, drama follows in those seasons, right? Drama is a part of leading us down that place of envy in our lives. See, when we're envious, we also are comparing ourselves. So if you're in a place where you're comparing where other people are at versus where you're at, maybe at the workplace, maybe in your school, maybe even in your own family, it's those moments you go, that actually is bringing drama to your life and making things more hectic in you instead of bringing them down. Another thing we see is that they also goes, okay, there's bitterness, and what comes next is actually this idea of rage. And you might go, wait a minute, I don't rage, and I'm a pretty even-keeled, kind of level-headed person, but this is really what described more as like outbursts. Like there's this outburst that is there, and we have outbursts of rage all the time where you're raising your voice possibly, where you're yelling. And in our culture today, that just seems to be more and more the norm wherever you go, in different places that go on. And so that's another marker of going, you know what, there's something drama related in your life that's letting this kind of be a consequence of things. And then it's like anger. And this, you might go, wait, anger, rage, like these two things, don't they go together? One's more of the outburst, the anger. The original language kind of talks more about the inner problem where all of a sudden there's something and there's an undercurrent where you just seem like you're always just stirred up inside and you're all just kind of upset for some reason and you're not settled, and that just leaks wherever you go. Harsh words. This is one of those things that is just more obvious, right, in terms of what goes on. It's like this ability for us to just kind of speak things that are just more hateful towards people and we try to tear people down and knock them down. The next one is slander, right? And it has its close cousin, gossip. And those two things always go together, where we're literally trying to talk about people and rip them down in the process. And you can literally go, that's the root of where so much of our drama comes from. But you might hear that list, and you might go, wait a minute, that's not me. I have to tell you, sometimes when I read lists like that, I'm like, I'm pretty good. Like, I can see that in other people, but not really in me. Maybe it's for the drama llama that's in your family, or in your friend group, or, your coworker down the hall at the office. But if we get real, which is, remember, one of our values that we have here at Thrive, we have to tell ourselves that we're actually more drama prone than we realize. We actually are more pulled into it, and we more add to it and contribute to it and actually stir it up in our lives. And this is important to realize, because if you don't recognize that you are actually adding to and bringing more drama to your life than then you will not be able to figure out how do you actually turn it down. You won't realize the trouble that it brings to your life. So I've got a way to kind of help us do that. Back in the day, that just lets you know that I'm getting older at this point. There was a comedian, his name was Jeff Foxworthy, and he had a comedy bit that he used to do that says, you might be a redneck if, and then he would finish a sentence like, you might be a redneck if you mow your grass and you discover a car in your front lawn. Like, ha, right? So it was a whole thing, but we thought about it, and we're like, hey, we need a drama version to help remind us maybe of how we can get caught up in and create drama in our lives. You might be a drama llama if... Check and see if any of these kind of resonate with where you might be today. You love hearing the tea, right? The tea is the modern day of saying gossip. So you might be a drama llama if you love hearing the tea, you love spilling the tea. I don't know, maybe you even just love drinking the tea, right? You love hearing gossip, getting the news, and then sharing that and having that accessible or available. Or you might be a drama llama if it's always somebody else's fault that life isn't working out for you and it's not going the way that you planned. If it's always like, well, if only they would, and they don't realize, and you know what, this circumstance or this situation, it's always all of those other things in money and relationships and work. Another one, you might be a drama llama if you make the biggest deals out of the littlest things. Right? Like driving down the highway and you're just complaining like that person was not getting over out of that lane. And I can't believe that they would drive in the fast lane and they're going that slow. Like, yeah, no, the kid don't even relate to that one whatsoever. Or somebody that's like, you know what? The elevator was out and I had to climb 4 flights of stairs this morning. Like people that do that. Maybe you find yourself in that category. Or maybe if you think full volume, it's like regular volume when you talk. That's a good one. Or maybe you like to be the first person to report on something terrible or something difficult that's going on, and then you eventually turn it around to make it about you. Or maybe else there's something a little bit closer to home. Your relationships aren't very smooth. You find it hard to forgive some people in your life because of things they might have put you through, or maybe you complain a lot. Or you get caught up in the latest social media arguments and debates that are going on online, and it just kind of defines what's going on in your heart. Or maybe you stick your nose in other people's business, or maybe you just got to, you know what? You need to be the center of attention. See, that's how easy it is to become drama-filled in your life. It's how easy it is to bring and to kind of get caught up in the things that go on and to add to it and contribute to it and let the drama grow. But when that drama grows, we just don't like what it does to us. We don't like how we see the world. We don't like how we feel inside. We don't like what it does to the relationships around us. And yet we're not quite sure what the alternative really looks like. It's this addiction that's really out there to drama, and that's why the writer of Ephesians tries to help us go, wait a minute, Jesus is giving us an alternative to follow and to look for. He's telling us, how can you move away from being drama-filled and going, wait a minute, let's turn things down and actually become drama-free in our lives. And I love how in the passage it makes it crystal clear. It's like, get rid of all of these things. And then in verse 23, it has this word that shows up. He goes, instead of all of that option of being drama-filled and following the drama llama stuff in our lives and maybe being a drama llama. He's like, hey, you can choose instead to walk down a path that actually is drama-free. And that means that he's like, okay, get rid of all of those behaviors that actually add to drama and instead walk down a new direction. Make some different choices so that the drama comes down, the drama is turned down in our lives, and we experience something. And the writer kind of balances off that negative list with this incredibly gifted list that talks about the impact of being kind to the people around us and offering them something intentionally, right? Being kind is I'm choosing to give something. Being tenderhearted meaning that I'm receptive to hear and I'm not kind of hardened and closed off, but I'm really kind of open to be able to engage with the situations and circumstances and the people around me. And then it's like forgiving, just like Jesus forgave us when we chose to go our own way separate from God. See, man, it's incredible. You start to see this alternative, drama-free picture that goes, wait a minute, you know what? When we operate in those ways of being kind and tenderhearted and we're forgiving, you know what? The drama does drop because inside we are in such a better place. And then what happens in chapter 5, verse 1, the very next verse that follows in our passage today, there's this great statement that gives us sort of this clear path and direction of how we can begin to turn the drama down in our lives. And it's the key. It's the key because our lives have become so marred by drama and scarred by drama and distracted and derailed by drama that if you want to be drama-free, this is the calling that it says that we're supposed to be. And it says these simple words, imitate God. But if you look at the passage and all the stuff that's talking about Jesus, it's really imitate Jesus. See, imitating Jesus helps you be drama-free. You want to know the beginning stages of how to turn down the situations, the circumstances that are drama-driven in your life. Imitating Jesus helps you be drama-free. See, when we start to think the way Jesus thought and we start to act the way Jesus acted and we start to look at life and the world and people the way Jesus looked, and then all of a sudden we can cut off the drama addiction that we have, and instead we can choose the peace, we can choose the contentment, we can choose the joy. And then we can respond to the drama when it comes to our lives in such different ways than the world is trying to tell us that we're supposed to. See, Jesus was the example, wasn't he, of kindness and peace? I mean, if you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the four Gospels, the good news that tell the story of Jesus here when he walked on this earth, people tried to bring drama to him all the time. Now, I'm not talking about when he was healing people and doing miracles. That's a different environment. He had his disciples making demands on him. He goes, there are people that wanted him to become, some sort of political figure. His own family approached him many times going, dude, why are you doing what you're doing? You need to come home. There was all kinds of drama and intrigue that came his way, but his response to it is something that was incredible. He always chose to not engage the drama. He chose to turn it down and offer this path of what that we can follow and that we can look to as a model. And it simply is about imitating Jesus. Now, that word imitation really, it's like the sincerest form of flattery, right? Where when you can take on the mannerisms, you can take on the actions, you can say the things when you're copying someone and what they do to try to get the same impact and results that they have. It's like mimicking the words and choices of them. When you do that, it actually leads to a better way of living. And it's funny, our kids do this when they're young, right? They'll do some sort of behavior of yours that they'll see you doing, and then they copy it. And most of the time, imitation can be a good thing. And that's what we're talking about here. It's just healthily going, you know what? Jesus is this incredible example. And we need to be able to follow his right thinking and the behaviors that we see from Jesus and how he loved people so incredibly and gave them grace. Even in the most difficult, drama-filled situations, Jesus would come alongside of people and go, hey, here's some grace, and here's a new way that you can walk in your life, and how he talked, and who he loved on, and the outsiders of society that he cared for. And the way that he was truthful and honest and yet was still sprinkling things with love in the process. That is the incredible thing. And so for our lives, if we're going imitating Jesus helps me be drama-free, then I need to discover just exactly what does it look like to imitate him. And our passage just kind of gives us a few introductory steps we can start to take today. With whatever situation you find yourself in, you can begin right now to actually turn the drama down with whatever you're going through and you're experiencing. Because I know we've been talking about drama a little bit, but some of you probably have some pretty significant things that you're dealing with, you're wrestling through, troubles that you're identifying, and you're reaching out today as a way to go, I could really use some help. And Jesus really is at the heart of everything that can transform your life. He is the only thing that can bring change to you in a way that drama can completely become something that just is pushed away with him. And there's a couple of things I want to highlight for us today. See, imitating Jesus, right, is this. We need to lift others up. Lift others up. Now, you might hear that and be like, okay, and I hear what you're saying, but that's what we see in the passage. Talking about kindness. That's something that we give to people because so much of our drama is always centered around a person or a relationship. So, that's a great beginning, being tender-hearted, keeping an open heart towards the people, forgiveness. You look at that list of things that are there, and they are all relationally driven in terms of how they work. And so Jesus always lifted people up. And he lifted them up, honestly, he lifted them up to give them access to be connected to God again and to go, this is the life that you were created for and you were meant to live. So he goes, if you would take this step to lift others up, it would make a huge impact. That means sometimes we got to forgive the people around us. We're going to let them off the hook. We're going to kind of wipe the debt off that we feel like they owe us and instead go, hey, I'm going to overlook offenses. And I want to put you first in the process. And I have to tell you, when I think about this in my own life, I've gotten it wrong so many times. And the drama has come when I've made it more about me. When I've thought, this is what my life is all about. And this is what I want to do. And this is how I want to be. See, because drama, what does it do? It lifts me up first. But drama-free, when I imitate Christ, you know what? It makes sure I lift others up in the process to make sure that I'm seeing them in the way that Jesus saw them. I'm going to flip around the thing we did earlier about, hey, you're a drama llama if, you're drama-free if, right? You don't gossip. You don't stir up trouble. You forgive easily. You assume the best in people. You only speak what is true. You don't kind of tell white lies or kind of overinflate or exaggerate things. You don't stick your nose in where it belongs. You don't get into other people's business. You don't drag people down in an effort to have you lift yourself up. See, that's when we lift other people and we just show them this incredible kindness. Wherever area you might find some drama this week, what can you do to lift that person up? But I want us to think about a question before we move on to the next way that we can kind of imitate Jesus to be drama-free in our lives. Do you lift yourself up first or others first? I think that's really where we got to begin. Because if we make things more about me, and we all are prone to that, right? We all want to make it about us. If we can just kind of turn that around, because when Jesus is in your life, he's the model and example of putting others first. When we do this, man, our relationships change and drama will plummet in our lives. So that's the first way. The next way we can be imitating of Jesus is to walk the ways of Jesus. See, Ephesians says that in chapter 5, it's once follow God's example. We're literally supposed to follow in his example of how we actually walked and talked when he was on this earth and what we read in Scripture together. That means we stay away from the things that are the ways of the world, and instead we choose to live our life in a way that I'm actually going to walk this. And this is hard because every single day we are just given an onslaught of being preached to by our culture and by our world. We're preached to off of social media, and we're preached to by our friends, and we're preached to from entertainment. It's live it up, have fun, do what feels right or makes you feel good, walk in whatever way you want. That's really the message that our culture is telling us, because that's really what's going to bring you happy. The problem is that the data doesn't bear that out. When we walk in the ways that we want, and I make it about me first, then guess what happens? The drama goes up through the roof. It seems to accelerate and take off in our lives. And yet, we're reaping those consequences over and over again in our world today. I mean, our world is walking in more dissension and difficulty and drama than I can recall in my lifetime. Anxiety, depression, loneliness, debt, divorce, division. Man, our world is hurting desperately. And that's the result of this idea of walking in whatever way you want. All of a sudden, we think, you know what, if you can figure out some sort of solution and you can do whatever makes you feel good, somehow that's going to help. And it's not helping. It's making the drama worse. And that's why walking the ways of Jesus is this complete other way of thinking. In fact, it's the way that God intended this world to be. You want to eliminate the financial drama, walk in the ways of Jesus. You want to eliminate the relational drama and stop in your lives, walk in the ways of Jesus in your dating, in your marriage. If you're between marriages and family and parenting and friends and sexuality, like in that relational context, walk the way of Jesus. To skip the drama of your past impacting your present, walk the way of Jesus and imitate how he approached life. See, what ways of Jesus do you need to turn down some drama in your life? There's an area that we talked about early on about the drama that's there. There's an area that you go, hey, how do I turn this down? Maybe you need to go, what's God's way of handling this situation? What's God's way of walking down this path? How do I follow his example on how he talked to people and treated people and how he tells me how I'm supposed to handle resources and money, and I'm going to walk in those ways, and you will find that it's such incredible truth that it will turn down the drama in your life in a big way. And the passage kind of comes to this place in verse 2 of chapter 5. It's like, hey, you know what? Live a life filled with love, right? That the love needs to be the first kind of response to situations and circumstances that we find ourselves in. See, this is one of the best ways to be drama-free. It's like, I'm going to love first. I'm going to love people first. You know what? I'm going to love God first. And the passage tells us as we go through it that, you know, we're there and we're supposed to make sure that we honor him, live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. This is what it says in verse 2. He loved us and offered himself as a sacrifice for us. See, this is the power, the greatest drama that you and I will ever experience in our life. Jesus came to this earth to turn it down and eliminate it. And that's the drama of sin. It's the fact that you and I chose to rebel and walk our own way separate from God. And that just created this kind of gap, this separation, this distance between us and how God longed for us to live. And Jesus intentionally said, okay, I'm God of the universe, but I'm going to come down, I'm going to go to a cross, and I'm going to give my very life, sacrificing myself to pay your debt of sin so that you can be made right again. And he did it all because of love. It's why Jesus came, to turn down the drama of sin in our lives and offer us instead this drama-free, purpose-driven, fulfilling, meaningful, adventurous way of what life is really supposed to be about. Because here's the thing, we're always on the search, aren't we? Even though we can walk whatever way we want and we supposedly are promised that that's going to help lead us to a life that we all long for, we're always searching, we're always hoping, we're longing, we're trying to create excitement and joy and peace. And that's why drama is something that we've become so addicted to and we don't even realize it. But our souls, inside, what they long for is to actually experience being drama-free. Being set free from the drama of sin and instead being connected to the way that we were meant to live, and that's connected to our God. And that's why Jesus matters in imitating him, but that starts with us accepting and trusting in him. See, to trust in Jesus and to make sure that I'm devoting and giving my whole life to him, see, that means I'm getting rid of all of walking my way and I'm going, you know what, I'm choosing to live this way with you, Jesus. So for some of you today, that's the step that you need to take today. That's the action that you need to take today, is to go, you know what, to start turning down the drama in your life, I need to give my trust and I need to invite and make sure that Jesus becomes part of my life. That's the beginning of this journey that God longs for us to have. See, because when you know that, wait a minute, when he comes into my life, I'm forgiven, you know what? You'll experience a lightness where things will be able to be set down and you'll be going, wait a minute, there's something new that God invites me into that I can have that's totally different than what I've experienced before. It's in those moments that you're like, I am so thankful that there is a God who loves me that much. And he was willing to come and die for me to set our souls free, to help us to live drama-free in our lives. See, and because of that and what God has done for us, that's what gives us the strength, because he's at work in us to change up those things that can help us then to turn down the drama in other parts of our lives, to help us forgive and to be kind and be tenderhearted and to love first and to walk in the ways of Jesus. See, that's why imitating Jesus helps you be drama-free. Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, right now I just say thank you for what you did by coming to this earth and offering us forgiveness. God, for something that we deserved, you said, you know what, I'm just going to say in my place, God, you put yourself there on the cross so that I could be set free. That I could have an alternative choice to being drama-filled in my life and looking for all kinds of other ways to find some excitement. But God, you offered me a path for the most adventurous, power-packed, fulfilling life possible, God. And it's in that moment that I just say thank you for what you've done. And I pray, God, for those that are watching, God, that they're maybe experiencing some drama in their life and they've never fully trusted in Jesus. I pray today that they would simply go, I believe. And I'm thankful that there's a God that would love me that much, that would come to die for me, that would wipe away my sins, not because of anything I've done, but because of what Jesus has done in and through us. And so, God, I just pray that someone might just simply go, I want to choose Jesus, and I want to begin imitating and following in his ways so that I can eliminate some marriage drama. God, maybe there's some drama between mom and dad and their kids, God, kids and their parents, friends at school, at work, God, even in families. God, maybe there's some choices that people have made where there's just conflict around finances. God, whatever drama's out there, this is the way that we can begin to turn it down and experience something completely different. It all begins with imitating you and trusting you. And I pray that someone might make that choice today. God, I pray for others that maybe have made that choice, that they would also go, you know what? I become a little bit more wrapped up in drama, and that's pulling me away from Jesus and his ways. And we're here today to go, we're committing to say, I'm ready to turn down the drama. God, I pray that as we kick off this series, that people would begin to go, I want an alternative. I want the other way. I want to follow in the path of Jesus so that things can be eliminated from my life. I pray right now they would have the courage to go, you know what? I'm in. I'm here. I want to be a part. God, change me. So we give you thanks, God. In your name we pray. Amen. I hope you're ready as we wrap up today to go, are you ready to leave the drama behind? That's the heart of what we're kicking off today as this series, to just kind of remind us that drama is a little bit more a part of our lives than we care to. And we are now on the path to going, how can we turn that down in our lives? And we're going to continue that over the next few weeks. So would you join us again next Sunday as we move into the next part of some of the things that we can understand and experience? Next Sunday, we're actually going to be talking about anxiety and worry, and how that really can keep the drama dialed up in our lives. And instead, when we look to Jesus, we can actually see how in trusting him, we can turn it down. You don't want to miss next Sunday. The week after that, we're talking about the ultimate drama killer. And the last Sunday is all about family drama, which just seems to be such a big source of the drama that we experience in our lives. But once again, I want to say thank you for being with us today. And before you go, if you're a guest or you're somebody who's just been watching Thrive, would you do us a favor and fill out the online Connect card? You heard our host mention it earlier. Our online hosts are actually going to be putting the link into the chat for you, and it's also in the description as you're following this or you're watching this. Would you fill that out for us? One, we'd love to know you're here. Two, we would love to be able to reach out and encourage you in your faith journey in any way that we can as a church. Or you might want to put something down as one of the areas of drama that you're experiencing that we can be praying for in your life, because we pray over this every week. We would love for you to take a moment right now and fill it out. Even if you filled one out earlier, would you fill it out and go, you know what? Hey, Pastor Andy, there's a couple of those things you mentioned that I want to take a step this week. I'm gonna make sure that I imitate Jesus because I'm going to lift others up and I'm going to walk the ways of Jesus. Or maybe I need to love first this week, love others first in the process. Would you write something down on that card so that we can know what you want to do? And we're going to take up our offering as well. Just want to remind you that link is there of what God wants to do in and through you and through our church by us partnering together to have an impact. Your giving allows us to be able to do this and so many other things, a part of the ministries of Thrive. It's also a way for us to walk in the way of Jesus and to be obedient to Him. Especially in the financial area where it creates so much drama, giving is one of those things can really help us bring the drama down because we're putting priorities where they need to be first. And that's on our Savior, Jesus. Once again, thank you for being here today. We are so glad that you are with us. And we can't wait to see you back next Sunday for part 2 of Turn Down the Drama. See you next time.
you.